So Drake gets a win in court, huh? This whole defamation case with UMG. We went through the paperwork prior, right? He was asking for a lot of paperwork as it relates to the exec salaries, what they make, their bonus incentives, things like contracts, could even be Kendrick Lamar's contracts. And we previously broke down why that would all make sense, where his actual lawyer team and his legal approach, it could really benefit you to have that type of information on hand. UMG was over here. No, 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 no. Hold on. We want this case actually, dismissed. So, what's the point of us spending all this time and all this money getting into all this paperwork and all this discovery process that Drake is requesting if we didn't even get to the dismissal part? So then they went back and forth. It was called, for example, staying the case. Looks like there was a verdict that came down yesterday on that. So, do we consider that a win for Drake? Let's go over some of it. I'm also going to pull up the paperwork and then we're going to talk about why it was a win. Okay. And shout out to everybody that's coming into the chat. I know I'm a little bit early, but I got a super hectic morning, so we got to get working. I know we normally wait till 6 a.m., but all right, let's get into this. All right, so let's first pull up the article. I just want to see generally what's being stated, and then I'm going to show you the actual matching paperwork. All right. Drake gets procedural victory in UMG not like us suit dispute over discovery process. Why did they call it the UMG not like us suit? Is it really is not like us really being? I don't think so. But all right. Drake has gained a small but notable procedural victory in his lawsuit against UMG over their release and promotion of Kendrick Lamar's diss song Not Like Us. Judge Vargas ruled that the pretrial hearing scheduled for April 2nd, which UMG had tried to delay, will take place. In addition, discovery in the case where the parties exchanged information will begin despite the corporation claiming that starting the process at this point was premature, given the state of the case. UMG wanted to delay the hearing so that the judge can have time to consider UMG's motion to dismiss the case entirely. A motion they have to file by March 17th. So already past that date. So that already happened. We already saw that. On Tuesday, March 4th, Judge Vargas denied UMG's requested delay. We saw that. An April 2nd hearing and ordered that if the music giant wanted to delay discovery, it would have to file a separate motion, which I believe they did. One the judge would consider at that very hearing. Okay. Drake's legal team responded to the ruling with a statement to Hip Hop DX. We are pleased with the court's decision to reject UMG's continued attempts to stall discovery, another clear sign that UMG cannot run from or bury the truth. This ruling, along with our motion for discovery in Texas yesterday, together represent major steps forward in holding UMG accountable to shareholders and artists for their repeated and egregious actions. In a letter to the Judge Vargas filed on February 24th, Drake's attorneys, Michael J. Gottlieb, explained in detail why he wanted the discovery process to begin immediately. And he mentioned Kendrick Lamar's Super Bowl halftime show in his argument. Yeah, we saw that. Delaying discovery would unfairly prejudice Drake, who is continuing to suffer the consequences of UMG's defamatory campaign. So we know all that. We know what their argument was as to not pause this and to not delay this any further. I did disagree with the approach of we should stay this, we should pause this, we should hold off on this. Well, I should say I did agree on Drake's side because I don't see how that creates prejudice, right? Now, I could see where you're saying you're continuing to be hurt and you use examples like the Super Bowl. That's definitely happening in background because you're under the assumption that if this case is deemed not dismissed and continuing it, that UMG and Kendrick Lamar will stop doing certain things. Meanwhile, they're up there, on the Super Bowl halftime show. They got the concert on the way. Kendrick's still dropping songs, little subliminal disses on Cardi's album. They're still in motion with certain things where it's just like business as usual. So I see where they continue to say like, wait, we're still getting hurt. But on UMG side, I always took the position that yes, especially to the length of what Drake wants, discovery process is time consuming, it's costly. I gave y'all an example of my discovery process, not even from the stuff that I had to go dig up and put together, but even the stuff that I received, right? I received this much stuff. You know what I'm saying? Well, my attorneys did. And even going through that, it costs money. You know what I'm saying? When you have decent attorneys, you pay retainer fees, you pay by the hour. You know what I'm saying? It's not no, hey, if we win, let's just break bread 50-50. It's not that. You know what I'm saying? So it all costs money and it's all part of the process. So, and I also did agree that if we have this motion in for dismissal, then discovery is a moot point. What if you do agree that this case should be dismissed, and then I've already turned over all this personal information, like what Lucian makes, what he made 2 years before, what he made overall his whole career, what Kendrick gets paid, and all. You know what I'm saying? So still, I keep telling y'all 50-50 chance Kendrick gets brought into this case one way or another, whether he's subpoenaed or whether I'm telling y'all 50-50 chance. I don't see how he's just allowed to just skate on all this. And it's all anyway. All right. So the paperwork is pretty straightforward. Um, it's funny how the news breaks before the paperwork is actually updated to their docket, which is why I was like, all right, I see the news, but where's the paperwork? Is this fake news? I was trying to do my due diligence for y'all. But of course, there are people inside the courtrooms and whatnot. So it makes sense for the news to get out first. But take a look at this, of course, filed yesterday, which was the second. It's a one-pager. Aubrey Drake Graham, plaintiff. Defendant, UMG Recordings. All right. All right, so Vargas once again is the judge. Judge Vargas and United States District Judge, as stated on the record during the conference held earlier today, defendant's motion to stay discovery pending resolution of defendant's motion to dismiss is denied. They put that shit in bold letters. Look at that. They wanted that highlighted, B. Like, no, there's no reason that we're deciding to pause this damn discovery while we're awaiting your motion to see if y'all going to be able to get this out of here, period. The parties are directed to submit a proposed case management plan or file a joint letter if the parties are unable to agree on a discovery schedule by April 9th, 2025. Oral argument on the motion to dismiss will be held on June 30th, 2025 at 2 p.m. in Court 14C, Daniel Patrick, whatever that last name is, United States Courthouse, 500 Pearl Street, yada, yada, yada. The clerk of court directed to terminate. Okay, so let's break a little bit of that down. So obviously that first bullet point is saying, once again, let me come on the big screen. Obviously that first bullet point is saying, once again, like, pausing all of this, that's denied. That's out of here. That's a court's ruling. We don't need to be here anymore about that. Okay, that's the win right there for Drake. And give me a second before I talk about why I think that that's a win. The parties are directed to submit a proposed case management plan or file a joint letter if the parties are unable to agree on a discovery schedule by April 9th. So April 9th is 6 days from now. So there are a lot of pieces during litigation, during the process, that the courts will allow both sides, defendant and plaintiff, to try to collaborate and work together on. It's not the court doesn't treat the two people unless they need to, as if like they're really at war, right? Because all the communication are supposed to be happening between the two professional people that are really on the same page as far as what we do for a living. Defendant's lawyer, plaintiff's lawyer. When those two parties get together, believe me when I tell you, they say things that they don't even say to their clients. I'm not trying to say that they throw their clients under the bus, but they'll change certain words. They'll try to be more politically correct. They'll try to be much more cordial, right? They even sometimes want to maintain relationships. Okay, those parties up there, sometimes they talk to each other in a way is almost just like, we're just here by chance because your client got something going on. My client got something going on. We're professional. Let's figure this out together. All right. So when do you want to send me some stuff? When am I going to, you want to agree to this date right here? Middle of April. Okay. Let's shake hands. Now, if me and you is going back and forth so much, fuss and fight and disagreeing, that's when we bring the court back in and say, hey, this particular part right here, we're having an issue. We're stuck. We can't get past agreeing on mediation. We can't get past agreeing on a discovery date. I keep telling him that the court's ruling of discovery includes the finance paperwork as well related to the person that walks down the hall, and they say no, it's only supposed to be these people, stuff like that. And then there's another one in there too. Let me move on to why I think this isn't as bad as the internet would run with, as far as Drake specifically, okay? When you have discovery process and when you have sensitive data, sensitive information, okay, not everything is going to be seen by Drake, okay? So there's a lot of people that just run around saying like, okay, he got this win, you know what that means? UMG is going to turn over all of this stuff to the plaintiff side, which is Drake's side, and then Drake is going to be able to sit down, go over all of this paperwork, read it, say, oh, okay, Kendrick, that's what happened, or that's what's going on. Now you, as my nemesis, right? My Nokia nemesis, we'll get to that in a second too. You, as my nemesis, I'm going to be able to use this against you. I'm going to be able to put this on the floor of war. Like, it doesn't happen that way all the time. You have something called AELO. AELO stands for Attorneys Eyes. I said LO, take out the L. AEO, Attorneys Eyes Only. Okay, meaning that UMG gives Drake's side as the plaintiff all this paperwork, but some of it is deemed AEO, which means that Drake could never see it and the lawyers could never tell it to him either. For example, let's say I have let's say I have a dispute with the company, right? And I say, I want to see how you're paying all the artists. Okay. They can go to court and say, we want how we pay our artists, how much we pay our artists. We deem that to be market sensitive information or secret sauce because we overpay our artists. We don't pay them in line with the rest of the market. So if ARP sees that, he will be seeing one of our tactics of how we've dominated the market, or we've dominated the industry, right? Now, from a case standpoint, from a legality standpoint of what we're here for, yes, you can have this information, but ARP can't see it and can't know the actual numbers. So how does that play now between my lawyer and me? My lawyer retrieves that information. He uses that information in my defense or my plaintiff side, whatever the situation is. He can't come to me though and say, yeah, it's actually $1.1 million. He can't do that. He might say something like, I got it and they're paying more. Something like that, maybe. Or he may, it may be obvious to me in how he uses his defense or his tactics if I'm on the plaintiff side back, during the whole process, right? I may understand some of it, but it's not like I can have that in my possession. I can't read it. I can't see it. I can't have the exact numbers. I might get a nudge or two. That's about it. Okay. So I would expect UMG to do that shit. I would expect Kendrick Lamar to contact UMG and say, hey, I see that you guys lost this. I want my contract to be AEO. I don't want Drake knowing my specific numbers. You can send them the information as for the court proceedings, but I don't want them to have, or I don't want Drake specifically to see my shit. And here's the justifications why. And for all we know, that could be another sticking point for both sides in the midst of this litigation. You never know. It could happen. But coming back to the paperwork real quick, if we take a look still at the last two bullets, so the discovery schedule, once again, that's 6 days from now, April 9th. So we'll see if they have any issues there. But the last bullet, oral argument on the motion to dismiss will be held June 30th. So you got a couple months even still before you get to the motion to dismiss, right? Who knows what's going to happen then? If I was UMG, I would be heavily focusing on that date. Now you can still get together this paperwork and comply with the dates that you guys are agreeing on. Do whatever you do back and forth with some of the discovery items, right? But I would be heavily focusing on that date still. Heavily, because that's the biggest thing, obviously, right? If Drake's lawyer ends up with some paperwork, all right, so be it. Like it's not the biggest loss in the world. It's something that you want to keep private, but okay, they've seen it. Especially if you're clean, right? If you're clean and you have nothing to hide, this is me being fair. If you have nothing to hide, you don't fear discovery, right? You don't fear those emails or those contracts if you have nothing to hide. Shit, in my discovery, I'm like, I can't wait to get to discovery because I feel like the stuff that I'm going to present in discovery is case closed, case over, right? For me, I was actually very, very shocked that anything at all was still in continuance after my discovery process, but that's another story. So focus on June 30th, right? Which is the dismissal date and argument and conversation. I can't wait for us to read that and see how that goes and why certain decisions come down based on that. In the meantime, though, Drake, this is a win for Drake, right? Because number one, if you're able to stall or hold off or stay discovery until the June 30th dismissal hearing, right? Number one, that's to be interpreted as an indicator of where the courts are already leaning. So if the courts agree with UMG's argument there, then it's just like, yeah, well, it looks like there is a situation that might be the turnout. So yeah, go ahead and hold off on that. For them to do that, even though they were presenting legal-based reasons on Drake's side why it should continue, it's still the court's decision, right? That's why it's arguments and filing going back, and then somebody makes a decision, right? So this definitely kind of gone the other way, So that's number one. Number two, just like I just said, if you are to fight, what's in your discovery, let's say hypothetically, it's not just because it's a timely and a costly process. Let's say hypothetically, you do know that there's some stuff in there that can be used against you. That would be a win for Drake then. That would be a win for Drake, right? And this is all provided that you get your hands on the exact stuff that you're either expecting or requesting, right? Like some text messages probably just vanish into thin air. God knows how, right? I mean, you never know like how this stuff really goes behind the scenes. There's other things, of course, that it's just like, no, you have this. Kendrick's contract, no, you have it. Send it, cut it out. I'm not hearing that bullshit, right? So that's the second reason to me why it's a win, right? And if you want to just be in general for the third reason why, the more information you have, the more you're armed with, period. So when Drake submits this defamation lawsuit and him and his lawyer come together with all these accusations and claims, keyword claims, right? You're claiming something. So you submit a claim, okay? That's all it is. It's a claim. It's your side. It's your perspective. It's your claim. It's your beliefs. The other side could be 1,000. Even if you have valid beliefs, even if you're not lying and you really think that they did something to you, which is why obviously I believe he tried to go after paperwork from Spotify and iHeartRadio. He just wanted that information to use in this shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't think he got anything over there, but he was collecting information. And that's the name of the game. When you're walking into these wars, when you're walking into these litigations, if you have a good legal team behind you, they're as strong as the information that they have. So that's the third win there. Now, if you're collecting all these metrics, this data, this money, these spikes in, all right, they got paid, $10 million last year, but the year of the UMG shit, they got paid $80 million, the execs behind the scenes. Well, now you start to establish motive with things like incentive, okay? And I'm trying to show you, Judge, that $70 million spike is the reason why they pushed that shit like no other. And they put the bots and they gave a discount to Spotify and they put it on extra playlists and they did all this shit that they normally don't do and all of that. That's separate to me, you know what I'm saying? But the point is, the more information that you have, the more weapons you're walking into the war with, right? So now Drake's side will have the ability to go through all of that shit with a fine-tooth comb and find reasons why they still feel like their claims are just or valid to strengthen their case. Okay. I don't want to sound like a little miniature lawyer, but I'm getting better. I think I'm getting better. All right. So that was the paperwork, and that was Drake's win. Speaking of Drake, before we move on from Drake, this has been going around crazy in multiple forms. There's a lot of breakdowns on it. Do y'all believe that Drake's Nokia video was a whole bunch of subliminal shots and trolling of Kendrick Lamar? If you haven't seen some of these breakdowns, here's one that's not playing too much music that we could actually play. All right, check this out.
Right, throwing subliminal shots in his Nokia video. Fans are breaking this down frame by frame, debating if he's trolling Kendrick Lamar or if it's just a coincidence. Let's take a look. For starters, some fans pointed out the dance moves in Nokia looks a lot like Kendrick's moves in Squabble Up. Now check this out. One user pointed out the similarities between the hallway scene in Not Like Us and the hallway scene in Nokia. But I think the more interesting thing is if you look closely in the background, you see the classic Nokia snake game and it's surrounding Drake. Now, some fans feel like this could be Drake's way of calling out the snakes in the industry who he feels teamed up against him. Several fans also posted side-by-sides of K-Dot's Super Bowl performance and Drake with his dancers in the Nokia video. Next up, let's talk NBA cameos. Kendrick had DeMar DeRozan, a Compton native and Not Like Us, while Drake brought in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, a fellow Canadian. Is it just a basketball theme? Or is Drake making sure he reps his city the same way Kendrick reps his? Now, the part that people are talking about the most is the ending in both these music videos. Not Like Us has a caged owl symbolizing Drake being trapped, while in Nokia, Drake's OVO owl is set free. So this could be Drake flipping the narrative. But what do y'all think? Is Drake playing chess, or is the internet reaching here? Is Drake throwing subliminal shots in his
There's another one that I saw in a different breakdown. When he had his back turned and he had the jacket on or whatever, I think I seen a breakdown say that the college or the institution that was on his jacket was the same one that Kendrick gave a speech at, which was like the first public appearance we seen him after the battle songs was actually dropping and whatnot. But may or may not be true. I gotta fact check that. But these breakdowns are all over the place. Let's say this, man. There's a good and a bad that I see in this. All right. Let's go to the good first. The good is I'm here for it. Like, who expected me to change? I said it before and I'll say it again, man. I'm not the pro Kendrick guy. I'm not the pro Drake guy. I'm the pro hip hop guy. I'm here for me and mine. You know what I'm saying? I'm here for my own entertainment and y'all entertainment. You know what I'm saying? Like, if Drake turned the whole shit around and won, I would break down every moment of it. You know what I'm saying? I'd be like, yo, Drake is kicking his fucking ass now. This is the greatest comeback in hip hop history. That's what I would say. And that's what we would all be up here laughing about. And I would have no issue with it. Like I said, Drake to me has lost points in his character and as a man. Music wise, I've always been good of separating the two. There's a lot of rappers over the times where I look at them, I'm like, I don't fuck with them. But I still listen to their music. All y'all will still two-step if fucking if some R. Kelly shit comes on, right? Do we fuck with them? Hell no. You know what I'm saying? So we gotta be real with ourselves, like, and stop joining these fucking gangs, these internet gangs, Team Drake, Team Kendrick. But anyway, I'm here for it. That's a good part of it, is that Drake is the petty shit, the messaging and whatnot. All right, here's the answer as far as is he trolling and is he sending shots at Kendrick? The answer is 1000% yes. Okay, like, let's not be naive. Um, Before Kendrick, to me, Drake, and before Drake, it was kind of like Jay-Z, and I don't remember who it was before Jay-Z, but these are like the kings of subliminals. Jay-Z had the crown for a while, and then it kind of like passed to Drake as Jay-Z migrated more and more away from music. Drake became one of the kings of I'm talking to you and nobody knows except for us. Okay. I think Kendrick took that and raised it to a whole new level where it's now done not just in the lyrics, it's done, at a movie, Avengers movie, Easter egg, Rockstar channel breakdown level of in all of my visuals, in my scenes, and I'm forcing the average fan or the average listener to Kendrick Lamar to always look for 2, 3, 4, 5 extra layers, opposed to this is just a song. That's how Kendrick has conditioned people that listen to him and watch him. And it's obviously another piece of his formula towards his enhanced views. Let's be logical. Let's be honest, right? Like, I do believe that his halftime show was incredible for multiple reasons. But the numbers and it shooting to number one like that, part of it is the replayability of wait, let me see what this breakdown is. That true? Let me go replay it myself. I've watched the Super Bowl in full, the full video on the Super Bowl's YouTube channel, like in the teens, like 12, 13, 14, 15 times. You know what I'm saying? Because of me going back and going back. The other Super Bowls, although there's been incredible ones, didn't give me a reason to replay and replay and replay and rewind and find there's more to find. They didn't do that to me. Okay. So Kendrick is the one that took that and put it through the roof. Okay. Drake has done it before. I'm not going to shit on him there. And he's going to be more inclined to do it now. Okay. Because here's one reason why Drake also got to be careful with his shots and his disses towards Kendrick. Did you see the first topic that we covered, people? He's in the middle of a fucking defamation lawsuit. So wait, hold on. Drake, do you want to be the person that's suing UMG for the actual word defamation and then get on a new song that drops April 2025, May 2025, June 2025, when you guys are having your dismissal conference and you got a song saying, fuck Kendrick Lamar, use a short bitch ass nigga, and I still believe that you be beating on Whitney and really? You talk about hypocrisy at its greatest. I mean, he's already tagged and labeled for life a hypocrite in suing over rap battles or battle rap lyrics or defamation that you asked for or you involved yourself within. But anyway, so you already got that, but now you got to pay attention to your own lawsuit. Like, really, you're gonna taint that? So he really has to go the subliminal petty route legally as well, not just tactically, but legally he has to go that route. Um, on the bad side of the token, though, here's why I don't like it. I don't get me wrong. In any other scenario, I'd be like, fuck it, we here for it. But for Drake, the reason why I don't like it, when you separate the legal side and you just focus just on the pure rap battle standpoint, I like I like when there's an element within the battle, like it's up, we here. This is what it is. Like, I don't want to see these two guys for the next 5, 10 years just throwing these little subs at each other that make us like, oh, did you see this? Is that what he meant? Oh, the owl was in the cage in his video, and at Drake's video at the end, the owl was out and it's free. In Kendrick's, it was cowering over and looking like it was about to get a spanking. And Drake's is standing up tall and looking sturdy and strong and free. Like, I don't want rap battles to end up with just that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I get it. All this shit is evolving. Things will continue to evolve. But if that's the state of rap, and it could end up like that. Why? Because the biggest rap battle in rap battle history is what? Drake versus Kendrick Lamar. Okay. The two biggest rappers in the world are who right now? Drake and Kendrick Lamar, right? So they can steer this shit, which is another reason why Drake's lawsuit is so dangerous. They can steer hip hop. They can steer the tone. Like when Kendrick comes out and he does "Watch the Party Die," that can be steering, right? If he's revisiting lyricism, that's steering. If the biggest rapper in the world comes out and he goes conscious or he goes super gangster rap, that's gonna steer the industry. Then you're gonna have the record labels say, "Oh, we need the next that. We need the next 6ix9ine." And then you get people like fucking CJ or whatever. You get whooped. You see what I'm saying? Like people, I'm not saying intentionally, but they will steer where the industry is heading, from the execs to the fans to the record labels to everything, right? The visuals, the music, the sound, everything. So I don't want their shit to just give us these visual subliminal fucking petty shots like, hey, read my jacket and make sure you read the letters, and guess what, that university that's on my jacket, that's where he gave his speech. Like, now to say the Drake thing, shot that I'm taking right now, because Kendrick has done it too. They say Kendrick had a tweet and delete yesterday where he put it's not enough, and then he put a little cell phone emoji, and then he put a trash emoji, right? Like, it's not enough in the game, but it's not enough. So using his own lyric, but he's a layered guy as always. So why you got a cell phone emoji next to it? The Nokia, right? And then you got the trash, emoji next to it. Now Kendrick, I don't want Kendrick to change. Kendrick was the guy that had like 5 back-to-back historic tweets, right? Or like 6 or 7, like diss track 1, diss track 2, just diss track 3, diss track 4, diss track 5. You know what I'm saying? Super Bowl halftime show announcement. Great. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, don't come down and be bothered by the petty. Don't go petty level of Drake, because Drake will be out here chasing. You're on cloud 9, Kendrick. Be careful. Don't start tweeting things that you have to delete if that was a real tweet, because Kendrick has been the superior, dominant, calculated maneuvering person in this whole equation. Don't get to the point where you got to come all the way down here because Drake put out a video and you got to put up a tweet that 5 seconds later you delete. So yeah, I see the pros and the cons, but yeah, he's taking shots at fucking Kendrick, people, and I'm here for it. Okay, but hopefully it don't stay like that legally. I get it. You know what I'm saying? And here's another aspect of why I think Drake has to do it like that too. You got the legal side that makes a lot of sense. How can I clearly defame this man and I'm already suing for defamation, right? They'll UMG would use that against me. They'll be like, see, look what he's doing. He's doing it again. Like that's what they're doing, right? But the other part of it too is just the 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 gravity of how bad the loss is from him and Kendrick's battle. The gravity is of the loss is so fucking extreme. And so, like Oscars and SNL and halftime shows and Grammys, sweeps and viral songs and your character and your image, all the shit that you put in your defamation lawsuit, right? All of that shit. It's so extreme. It's one of the worst losses, or the worst loss in hip hop history, right? That it almost would look like punching up at the clouds for Drake if he comes out and he's just like, oh yeah, so say Drake, you and Whitney is just like, beat it. Like Kendrick would be in a position to be able to do that. Like, beat it. I said no round twos. Did you not hear me when I said that when we announced the halftime show? Beat it, little guy. You lost. You got your ass whooped. It's over. You're not gonna go study, train, do your push-ups. Oh, that was a good tie-in. All of that shit, and then come back and then try to just bait me in the middle of your Nokia video and be with these direct, like, no, go do your subs. I don't care. I'll reply to you with a tweet, but I'm not getting back in the booth. It's going to take way more than that for me to drop another Not Like Us or another Meet the Grams. You know who I would love for Kendrick to drop a full all-out battle rap song direct? Here, I got you, nigga. We here. Let's talk. It's Kanye, of course. Kanye has been hating on Kendrick so much. I would love for Kendrick to give him the attention that he's looking for. Kanye literally has asked for it. We gonna drop a song. He literally has been asking for it. Give him what he's asking for. Leave the Drake win alone. Drake is going to continue to do what he does, and Kendrick's going to send subs too. But all right. Shout out to everybody that's now coming into the chat, being at 6 a.m. My apologies, people. We cut the stream on at like 5:30. I had to start a little bit early because I got a very, very hectic day. That's not going to happen to y'all too often, I promise. But shout out to everybody, all the members, all the mods, and everybody in the chat. Don't feel late. Instead, just blame me for being too early. Okay, I apologize. I'm literally up here apologizing for being early. Is that not crazy? All right. This was an interesting one. Just like yesterday, how about some extortion talk? I thought this was a very interesting video. And let me shout out the creator, Hood War Chronicles, right? Shout out to them. I gave them a subscribe yesterday. He had a video when the Rolling 60s Crips forced the wrong rapper to check in, right? And since all this Big U stuff is some of the biggest news out there, let's go back through what happened with some of these rappers when they were forced or dressed for checking in. And most of this stuff, most of this video revolves around where? Cali, okay? They got it. They got the crown. Yeah, I'm telling y'all, the whole extortion and checking in stuff, they got it. All right, let's check this out.
In the rap game, a lot of crazy things have become the norm, especially with gangs and rappers. One example is checking in, a glorified form of extortion supposedly pushed mainly by the Rolling 60s Crips.
It's been rumors that LA is probably one of the most dangerous places for rappers. Do you believe that's true?
Yeah. Because, I mean, everybody be checking in.
But not every rapper is down for that. From Rick Ross standing his ground.
Ain't no checks getting cut. Ain't never no checks getting cut. I don't play those games. I consider that extortion. We don't play like that.
To MC Hammer putting gangsters in their place.
So basically, he came at Hammer like, hey, man, in this LA and everything, man, and things can happen, you know what I'm saying? You have to holler at me, man, you know what I'm saying? Holler at me for protection. You know what I'm saying? Protection for what? See, man, I got 12 bodyguards out there. So if I have them, straight killer. You know what I'm saying? So what you talking about? You know what I'm saying? I don't need no protection.
These are moments when the Rolling 60s Crips tried to force the wrong rapper to check in, Big U. So now, one name that comes up in this whole checking in situation is Big U. Recently, he and some members of the Rolling 60s neighborhood Crips got taken in, and one of the wild charges against him is extortion.
Gene Henley Jr., a career criminal known as Big U, who used his contacts and leadership role in the Crips criminal street gang, the entertainment industry, to further his own criminal enterprise. An enterprise engaged in murder, extortion, robbery, human COVID fraud, and other felonies.
Besides being the leader of the Rolling 60s, Big U has been super vocal about rappers needing to check in, publicly saying it multiple times.
But other dudes do got to. And I'm just gonna keep it 100. Just imagine this though. If another crew pull up in you guys' area and they ain't checked in with none of y'all, you're gonna feel some kind of way.
Yeah. There are even videos of him warning what could happen if they didn't, which has people talking about whether all those robberies, assaults, and even deaths of rappers who refused to check in were connected to him.
Anytime you want to do movies in the hood, just check it in. We can make sure it's done. Movies, videos. But if you don't check it in, we're gonna check you in, all right? We're gonna check in all of your equipment.
For example, there have been rumors that Big U was allegedly behind PNB Rock's murder during a robbery in LA. In an interview, when asked about the situation, he talked about how he checks in when he travels, basically implying that PNB Rock should have done the same.
We in LA. When I go to Chicago, I respect Chicago wholeheartedly. I check in. When I go to Atlanta, I check in. And I don't think nobody is safe. I know dudes right now from LA who are actual gang members who have been robbed for their jewelry.
And then there's Nipsey Hussle. A lot of
let's touch on that real quick. The PNB Rock stuff. Rest in peace, PNB Rock. So Loose Cannon, I think, has said on multiple different podcasts and platforms that him and Big U were there at the restaurant the day the shooting happened and PNB Rock lost his life, right? Number one, we got to take all that with a grain of salt, because Loose Cannon obviously isn't the most credible person in the world, all right? He's been caught in a bunch of lies. There's also some things that he has said where it's just like, wait, it's even in the indictment. Like, you know what I mean? So you don't just listen to Loose Cannon and say, oh, he said it on a podcast. It's real. Him and Big U definitely were there. I don't know about that. I'm not sure about that. That's number one. Number two, the people that were convicted wasn't a father and son, right? And it kind of even got drilled down to the point where they said that somebody worked there or something, kind of gave the drop, made a phone call, and then they showed up, right? So it looked like an opportunity, because that particular restaurant that they was at was just a dangerous place, and maybe PNB Rock didn't care, but all the jewelry he had on and everything, it was a call made and looked like, you know, the lick was in place, right? So it seems from the reports that came out. That's number two. Number three, if Big U and Loose Cannon allegedly knows that this play is in motion, I'm not trying to say that Big U and Loose Cannon come off being the smartest people in the world, but if you know it's going down, what are you going there for? Like, if you're gonna play boss like Big U allegedly, then the play is in motion. Go grab them jewels. He didn't check in, whatever the case may be. Bring it back to the table. When the phone calls start to circulate, I'll get them in touch with me, and he could buy his shit back. And next time he'll be tapping it with me, and that's now we got another victim that's being extorted from us or by us. Now PNB Rock is tapped into us, right? Going forward, right? So why would you have to go there just to watch it with your own eyes? Now, of course, I don't think anybody knew that it was going to end up being a shooting, because it looked like a robbery attempt, right? And PNB Rock was also found with a gun on him. So the way that gun came up in the footage real fast, it almost looked like maybe he saw PNB Rock like reaching for his gun, and he started shooting. Like, that could have been the case. So, but still, like, Big U and Loose Cannon happen to be there, or they're there to watch what you thought was going to be a robbery, and they never get questioned for it as two known gang members that were there. Like, I don't know. I don't know if I'm just gonna say that they were there. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's not impossible, but that could just be Loose Cannon being Loose Cannon. You know what I mean? But the whole thing there still of the clip that was just played of Big U saying that related to PNB Rock dying is still him using it, whether they were there or not, if you ask me, in my opinion, because you have occurrences like that, whether you have the shooting of Quando Rondo's cousin, whether you have the shooting of PNB Rock, the Big U's of the world, even if they had nothing to do with those shootings, right? They get to take these platforms now and further enforce why they are needed. They get to further enforce their power. They get to come out and say things like, look, man, that may not have happened if you tapped in with me, because I would have told you, don't go over there. Or I would have sent some of the homies with you. Or you would have been tapped in or affiliated with me, and niggas would have known not to play with you because you were Big U. All these different reasons why checking in with me is beneficial to you. And trust me, I'm going to figure out a way to make it beneficial to me, right? So I feel like he uses those occurrences to continue to bolster why he's important, why he's needed, and why checking in needs to happen with him and his team, regardless of whether you had anything to do with PNB Rock shooting or Quando shooting or not. You see what I'm saying? All right, let's keep rolling.
If people believe Big U had something to do
I didn't mean to say let's keep rolling. There was no pun on that.
with Nipsey's death, mainly because of their known feud. But according to insiders, a major reason Big U might have ordered a hit on Nipsey was because Nip stopped paying him for so-called protection.
Everybody know Big U and Nipsey had an argument, homie. Everybody know Big U was shaking Nipsey Hussle down, making him pay protection fee, sort of. Nipsey Hussle got smart and say, I want to pay you $20,000 a month no more. And Nipsey Hussle come up dead. He lost his protection. And the hood killed him. We all know this, homie.
Another reason is Nipsey got too big. Even though Big U was a boss in the streets, the moment Nipsey pulled up, all the attention was on him.
Wasn't nobody screaming Big U till he had to get the little homie out the way. It was Nip, Nip, Nip. It wasn't you. Big U in the hood when Nip come through the hood. The little homies ain't looking at Big U, they looking at Nip, cuz.
And in gang culture, no one is allowed to be bigger than the gang, so they had to take him out.
Yeah, Nip was getting bigger than the set, cuz. And don't nobody get bigger than the set is what I was told. So they killed that.
Now, while not all rappers were extorted by the Rollin' 60s, people can't help but say that under Big U, the Rollin' Crips were allegedly doing it more than anyone else. Some rappers lost their lives because of this, some barely made it out, and a few actually stood up to these gangs. Let's take a look at them. Starting with Pop Smoke. Back in 2022, Hassan Campbell was on a podcast where he talked about how these extortionists keep tabs on rappers, knowing exactly what hotels, villas, and spots they're staying at.
You got to check in. On the West Coast, they more disciplined than we are. When you step, they know the hotels, the villas, everywhere you go.
According to him, Pop Smoke didn't check in with the right people, which allegedly led to them breaking into his rental home, a situation that unfortunately cost him his life.
Pop Smoke didn't check in, so he got checked out. It's just that simple. They knew he was there.
Rest in peace, Pop.
Hassan also mentioned how much he respected Pop Smoke for not bowing down to anybody. It was just tragic that things ended the way they did.
I guess whatever Pop Smoke was claiming, he wasn't checking in. And I respect him for not checking in. I just hate the way he had to go out, man. Yeah.
Next up is Nas. According to Snoop Dogg, the first time he met Nas was in Gardena, a Crip neighborhood. Snoop was chilling with his crew when a white van suddenly pulled up, and out jumped Nas, dressed head to toe.
Now, y'all drop in the comments, is Pop Smoke a check-in scenario, or is that, accidental addy drop while you out of town or you in a place, that's not your stronghold, and they pull up for the robbery? You're a rapper and you just happen to be there. Which one do y'all think it is? And I guess you got another layer to that question of, now let's say you get the addy and Pop Smoke looks like a target. Do you still pull up if he's tapped in with certain people? Well, that one we have the answer to. That's yes or no. You never know. But overall, I think the news that we got, I don't know if that was a check-in thing from what we hear, even though he was involved, even by his own Instagram videos and shit. He was in some gang beefs. Okay. And we know what Pop claimed the roots of that is back in Cali. Right. So I don't know.
Oh, and Red.
Yeah, the first time I met Nasty Nas, I was in Gardena.
Another Crip neighborhood.
Yeah, shotgun. And I was out there hanging tough with my homeboy. A white van pulls up and it got like about 15, 16 people in it. All of a sudden the door, boom. Some dude jump out. He got on all red.
Snoop said his people were instantly on alert, guns drawn, but he stopped them, telling them that's Nas.
So the homies are like, they finna draw down on him. I'm like, hold on, cuz, that's the rapper from New York. That's Nasty Nas, cuz.
When Nas walked up to greet him, Snoop gave him some real advice, letting him know that in LA, rocking all red or all blue can get you caught up fast because you never know what neighborhood you might end up in.
And he shake my hand. I'm like, it's a pleasure to meet you, but let me let you know. When you ever in LA, don't ever jump out with no red or no blue on because you don't know what neighborhood you in, loved one.
This just goes to show that Nas didn't care where he was, let alone about checking in. But according to sources, that decision might have had consequences. Rumor has it his home was later invaded, though thankfully nothing serious happened.
Okay, Nas got his house broken into. 2 criminals went to the rear door, broke the glass, and kicked the in.
Next up is Eminem. Back in 2003, Eminem teamed up with the legendary Booyah Tribe on their single in 911.
DJ Muggs, Soul Assassins, Cypress Hill.
But this wasn't just your average.
I mean, if you live out there, you know. But from the outside looking in, the 9 Cali natives, y'all be thinking Crip blood and black urban communities and whatnot. Y'all be forgetting about the Mexican strongholds out there. Like, that shit is real. Like, them niggas is strong as fuck out there too. All right. You see who almost fucking killed Officer Hoyt, right? I'm bugging as always. Reference king.
Rap collab, it had way more layers to it. For those who might not know, the Booyah Tribe wasn't just a hip-hop group. They were deeply tied to the Samoan gangs of Los Angeles.
Y'all got some gangsters coming this Saturday, man.
What?
And if you're familiar with gang culture, you'd know that the Sons of Samoa are no joke. They might come across as chill and easygoing, but when provoked, they're known to snap, and the consequences can be deadly.
Did you catch this? 100% Samoan. Lift up your shirt, bro. Lift up your shirt. Lift up your shirt. Show your tap. Look at that. Samoan.
Back in 2020, Booyah TRIBE's nephew, Monsta Gunja, revealed that back in the day, his uncles weren't just rappers. They were also working as security for Eminem.
And didn't they do security for Eminem a little bit when M used to come out to the West Coast? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Turns out, Slim Shady was being extorted by the Los Angeles Crips.
He was getting extorted by some Crips.
Who Paul Rosenberg was?
So
or
Eminem was getting extorted by some Crips.
But the Booyah Tribe came through for Eminem. They stepped in, protected him, and in return, got a feature on that track.
A few phone calls were made, and then that's how the feature came about.
This might also explain why Eminem never seemed scared of Suge Knight. Take, for example, the time when 50 Cent was filming the music video for In Da Club. Out of nowhere, someone yelled, "Suge Knight is here." That single sentence threw the entire set into chaos. Suge showed up with about 30 men, reportedly members of a Mexican gang.
This is why I always respected Eminem, 50 that was with us. So Suge came, he had some Mexican. We from New York. You ain't never seen a with a tattoo on his forehead.
Amidst this tension, Eminem was also present at the video shoot. True to form, Eminem did not back down.
This is when I knew Eminem was real. He's like, oh, man. This is when I knew, I'm like, damn, Eminem is a real For these outside, what's up?
Then there's the story from the 2001 Source Awards. Normally, artists could have their bodyguards nearby at these events, but for some reason, the rules that night required bodyguards to sit separately from the artists.
The way they had it set up, the bodyguards could not sit with their artists. You had to stand off to the side.
According to Eminem's former bodyguard, Big Naz, M ended up surrounded by a group of intimidating guys wearing red shirts, a clear signal they were affiliated with the Bloods.
And M was cut off on his way to his seat, and all these guys in red shirts surrounded him. And I'm looking at M's face, and I'm looking at these guys. I'm like,
Big Naz quickly realized something was off and sprinted across the venue to get to Eminem. He said it was obvious these guys had been sent by Suge.
You see all these guys talking about death row, death row, death row, death row. So by the time I cut in, I step in front of him, I push the guys back. I'm like, yo, what's going on here, man? I was like, death row, what's it got to do with him? He said, hey, man, Suge sent him a message.
However, despite all this tension, it's highly likely that if Suge Knight had ever laid a hand on Eminem, he would have faced serious consequences. Thanks to Eminem's connection to the Samoan gang, a group even Suge was known to tread carefully around.
I was like, what's up?
Suge Knight scared of you.
I wish we had this podcast going in the midst of all of Suge Knight's drama and him going through his, his issues. Because we talk about Big U. Suge Knight got a lot of stories of the hell that he raised out there. Like, imagine watching those two guys clash. I mean, they're from different sets, right? But
Suge Knight scared of you. And then everyone I talked to, man, is Suge really this, really that? I was like,
but
I'm Samoan, man. I don't give a I don't care. You King Kong, you Godzilla, you're going to get your ass.
Next up is MC Hammer, and he is no joke. Anyone who's ever crossed him will tell you that firsthand.
That goddamn MC Hammer, very serious about beef. Y'all laugh and y'all joke about Hammer. No. MC Hammer was there. Approached me. He was like, Red, I'm gonna tell you something. You young, but I don't allow nobody talking about my mama. You understand me? I said, yes, sir.
Sure, he had the flashy dance moves, the parachute pants, and a style that didn't exactly scream tough guy. But behind all that, Hammer had real street cred. He was well connected, highly respected, and backed by a crew that didn't play around.
Yo, his entourage was something like I never seen in my life. Like, it was literally
100 people.
More than 100 people.
Benito, one of Hammer's vocalists, shared an incident from back in the day. After an event,
yeah, we saw Big U say on Vlad that if he was home during that time, wouldn't have been no Death Row Records. Like, yeah, that would have been interesting to say the least.
event in Los Angeles, Hammer and his crew were packing into their vans to head back to the hotel when they noticed a familiar face rolling up. Michael Concepcion, one of the original founders of the Crips.
It's this dude in his wheelchair and about 4 or 5 dudes with him, hanging out. I know they Crips because my cousins all Crips in LA. So I'm like, that's a gangbangers.
Michael told Hammer they needed to talk. Basically, he offered Hammer protection while he was in LA, warning him that anything could happen in the city.
Like, hey, I want to holler at you for a minute, Hammer. Now, the thing is, Mike already knew who Hammer was because they did the video. We were on the same gang before. So basically he came at Hammer like, hey man, it's LA and everything, man, and things can happen, you know what I'm saying? You just
Drop a yes or no in the chat if you know the song All in the Same Gang. Do y'all go back there? Do y'all know what he's talking about right there? What song?
holler at me, man, you know what I'm saying? Holler at me for protection.
Hammer was taken aback by the whole thing and asked why he'd need protection when he had his own squad of bodyguards. 12 of them, in fact. And these guys weren't your average security detail. Some of them were straight up killers. So Hammer wasn't feeling like he needed Michael's help.
Just holler at me, man, you know what I'm saying? Holler at me for protection. You know what I'm saying?
Same Gang is as much as my fucking memory is so embedded in hip hop. Same Gang is the one that had Humpty in it, right? I'll tell you this, man. Sadly, as a child, it took me a minute to know that it was the same fucking person. Like, the editing and the videos that they did with the fucking mask and everything. I don't know how I fell for it as a child as long as I did, but and he got the beat change on the song, right? Oh, the beat changed, and he had like a hard beat on that. Like, yeah, like I'm on point with that. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I gotta play it after this.
Protection for what? See, man, I got 12 bodyguards out there. And for 5 of them, straight killers. You know what I'm saying? So what you talking about? You know what I'm saying? I don't need no protection.
Michael didn't seem to like Hammer's response and kept pushing, saying Hammer should watch his back.
You need to holler at me, man. If you don't, something could happen to you, whatever. You know what you're trying to say? So, you know what I'm saying? You go ahead and, take care of that and everything will be cool. He said, "You start trying on me."
That's when things got heated. Hammer's bodyguards were ready to handle the situation right then and there, but Hammer held them back. Instead, he made it clear to Michael that one phone call from him could shut the whole thing down. Hammer wasn't bluffing either. The next morning, Michael actually came back to apologize, showing just how much respect Hammer commanded.
And Hammer and our people looking like, yeah, I'm waiting for you to move. Hammer, hey, what's up? He said, hey, man, it's like this. I'll make one phone call. And all this will go away.
Next up is Snoop Dogg. After he blew up, his own crew, the Long Beach Crips, started feeling some type of way. They thought Snoop wasn't doing enough for them. He kept repping and name-dropping the set, but they claimed he wasn't giving back. One specific incident that really rubbed them the wrong way was brought up by a Crip from Long Beach named Flossie. According to him, one of the homies had opened up a new restaurant in the hood, and it was quickly becoming a popular spot. Since Snoop had the platform and the influence, they reached out, hoping he could invest in the business or at least promote it on his Instagram to help it gain even more traction.
My homeboy Kenneth had a little soul food restaurant, you know what I'm saying? And I was hanging around and the homies
Oh, talk to us. You're headed for self-destruction. Self-destruction. You're headed up. Funky fresh, ready to dress, ready to party. Round in your body. To get inside, you pay the whole thing. Leave the guns and the knives along. MC is on the microphone. On it, smashing the fashion. I can't understand my homie. Don't be mashing. Oh, you ain't on the door. So what you got to go for? Do you rob the rich and get to the poor? Yo, what? You know, when you don't got all the words down, Pat, you got to mumble like 80% of it. Like, but you know, the little key moments you got, like, do you rob the rich and get to the poor? You ain't guarded the door. So what you got to go for? Like, what? The crack era was crazy, and a lot of music tailored to it. Like, yo, we got to stop this shit. This crack is fucking, we are turning this shit into like Dawn of the Dead. Like, that shit was crazy. Appreciate you, homie.
hanging up there with her. This was beginning to be the spot.
But instead of supporting, Snoop reportedly brushed them off. Flossie claimed that Snoop acted like they were just looking for a handout, like they were always expecting him to give them.
Don't get me going. Hey, yo, world, the world, hey, yo, world. Don't get me going, dog. Chill out.
Money, when that wasn't the case at all.
I'm hearing all this sidebar chatter that Snoop, and I'm reading texts back and forth with Snoop to the homies, and he talking to homies like we peasants or something. Like he gonna make the world think always depend on him for money.
Then came the rumors. Word started spreading that Snoop had been straight up banned from his old neighborhood. The story was that he pulled up to Long Beach with 3 or 4 cars full of security.
Damn. As a kid, I always liked Kid more than Play as a kid. I think Kid got it. I think he did. I did a blog on it on an old channel, ARP blog spot. I think I gave the win to Kid. You know what I'm saying? Play, try to play him like it's my crib and all this and all. Nah. Yeah, I'm going with Kid. Fuck that.
Security, but instead of being welcomed, he was rejected. The gang wasn't showing him any love, and supposedly, they had made it clear that he wasn't one of them anymore. Naturally, this didn't sit right with Snoop. He wasn't about to let people spread stories like that without addressing it. In a video response, he shut down the rumors, saying none of that ever happened. According to him, it was just a bunch of bitter gang members trying to stir up drama because he was focusing on mentoring young talent instead of associating with them.
You 50 years old. You can't get a job, cuz? You mad at me, cuz? Because I won't help you no more? Because I can't do nothing to help you no more? Because I'm focused on helping out the kids, but mad and jealous at me because of what I'm doing? Trying to blemish my name and my character?
A lot of people, especially those from Long Beach, had Snoop's back on this one. They argued that if it wasn't for Snoop, Long Beach wouldn't have the recognition it has today. To them, this whole situation just boiled down to jealousy.
Snoop had been away from the city, but at the same time, he also gave back in many ways. But you know, you always gonna have haters when you pop it. You don't have. I mean, if you don't have haters, you're not popping.
Oh, nobody shit, you know, and he was doing for the youth. He been doing his football league, been around, but people don't look at it like
his football league got mother so happy and sons out the hood.
He real for that because he grown himself. He had to work for what he got right now and all that, you know. So for another man to say they ain't give him not no handouts out here, we grown out here too.
For him,
so any say Snoop can't go back to the hood and all that, they're a lie. You feel me? Because Snoop got money.
Now, there were some rappers that the gangs did successfully extort, one example being Rick Ross, and it all stemmed from a feud between them. This beef was no joke. The GDs didn't just make threats, they posted death threats against Ross on YouTube, making it very clear they were serious. Things escalated to the point where a hit squad even opened fire on Ross in South Florida. So what exactly did Ross do to get on their bad side? It all goes back to Ross's hit song BMF, where he raps, "I think I'm Big Meech, Larry Hoover, whipping work, hallelujah." This line didn't sit well with Kevin Clayton, aka OGKK, a local gangster with deep industry connections. OGKK was the go-to guy for rappers visiting Atlanta and one of the chief enforcers of the hate committee of the GD. He felt disrespected by Ross's lyrics, believing it was inappropriate for Ross to use the name of GD founder Larry Hoover without permission from the gangster disciples.
I think I'm Big Meech, Larry Hoover.
KK reacted harshly to Rick Ross. On October 29th, 2012, he released a video on YouTube threatening Ross and declaring him banned from Georgia.
The service announcement right now, straight to the point. This straight at Rick Ross, the whole Maybach music.
I remember this.
Real talk here. Hey Rick, straight up, you know what you did first time we gave you a pass on the Larry Hoover Big Meech song. You were supposed to take care of some business you didn't take care of. You know who you need to tune in to.
The video from KK went absolutely viral in the hip-hop world, and Rick Ross had no choice but to respond. At that time, Ross happened to be on tour for his new album, God Forgives I Don't. MMG, Maybach Music Group, was dominating the rap scene, with Meek Mill emerging.
You just look. Most of us remember that beef right there and that little back and forth. It was playing out all on World Star and all types of shit. But when you think about it, just think back to those times. Think about it. Like, this is a beef that started because Rick Ross rapped, "I think I'm Big Meech, Larry Hoover." I think it's a paying homage type of thing, you know, but because you rap the name in a song that garners profit and you didn't tap in with the actual gang, it's ridiculous principles and concepts. And this is what we do to each other, people.
As a star, Wale becoming a top artist, and French Montana dropping back-to-back hits. This was a massive tour, selling out stadiums across the country. Coincidentally, just weeks after KK's video, Rick Ross announced the rest of the MMG tour was canceled. This included tour dates in North Carolina, where the local GDs released a video similar to KK's. As soon as the news broke, everyone assumed Ross was terrified of the GDs, forcing him to respond to the rumors. On December 10th, 2012, Rick Ross addressed everything in a radio station interview. He explained why the tour was canceled and insisted it wasn't because of any threats from the GDs.
I canceled the rest of the tour due to the promoter wasn't really handling his business. You know what I'm saying? He canceled.
Nobody believed that at that time.
So I just felt like that was some power that I needed to take away from homie. So I canceled the rest of the dates. And never was it due to any threats. You know, I'm a certified man. I am a real boss. So don't never get it twisted. Ricky Rose is a boss. I'm certified worldwide. I could put 1,000 gangsters in any hood. Pull up the footage of me walking out in Chicago on the stage with the chinchilla dragging on the floor. You let me know if that's the swagger of somebody that's in fear of their life.
Ross stood his ground, defending.
Chill out. Calm down, Ross. Calm down. You didn't have 1,000 people with you when you got punched in the face out there in Canada, right? Chill out. Calm down, man. The whole boss presentation, we get it. We buy your music. We like you, but chill out. And I know that's an old school Ross, but chill out, man. This is the type of shit that clearly shows us the difference between you know, these people, what they're going to say on these microphones, what they're going to rap about, and how to, and the next thing you know, the fucking CEO video comes out, and it's just like, whoa, like just get your money, homie. We fuck with you. Chill out.
His reputation like a man. But what do you think? Did he cancel the tour because of the GDs, or was it just a coincidence? Before you decide, let's dive into the next incident that might shape your opinion. January 27th, 2013 was Rick Ross's 37th birthday. He headed out to Brickell, Miami to celebrate. After a joyous night, he drove home in his Rolls Royce with a woman named Shataraya at 4:42 a.m. While driving through Fort Lauderdale to his beachfront mansion, a car pulled up beside him. The window rolled down, and shots were fired at Ross's car. Ross punched the gas, speeding down Los Olas Boulevard. After creating some distance, he made a sharp right onto 15th Avenue, losing control of the Rolls Royce and crashing into a nearby apartment building. Fortunately, both Rick Ross and Shataraya were okay. However, this was a terrifying incident for the Teflon Don. The Fort Lauderdale police were concerned and approached Ross for details, but he refused to make any statements. The case remains unsolved, leaving everyone to speculate. Was it the gangster disciples making a point, local Miami beef, or just a random attack? Given the timing, many online speculated it was the GDs. This rumor gained traction when, in a 2016 testimony, an Atlanta GD named Markel White made some shocking statements. He told the courts that after the incident, Rick Ross agreed to pay the GDs $6 million to get off his trail. However, he clarified that the final payment was $3 million from Rick Ross to the Atlanta GDs. He didn't specify who exactly got the money, but we can imagine who it was.
I didn't remember
back
that.
To those who stood their ground against gangs, we have Waka Flocka. Back in
There's court documentation and statements that he paid $3 million extortion fees, or hey, y'all calm down, leave me alone, to the GDs behind all of that. It's my first time hearing that. Wow.
2010, Waka was shooting a music video with Gucci
If
Mane,
it's true.
just doing his thing, when suddenly this dude shows up on the set and starts yelling all sorts of crazy stuff at him.
I remember this.
I'm here. I'm here, bro. I'm not studying. I'm Gucci, you Gucci.
Now, Waka had apparently stepped on some toes because some locals weren't too thrilled about him being in their neighborhood. There's actually a video shot by worldstarhiphop.com where you can see this guy walking up to the video shoot just hurling insults at Waka Flocka. It turns out these two had some beef in the past, and the guy wasn't happy about seeing Waka on his turf. If you watch the video, you'll notice the dudes rolling up on Waka are all rocking the Crip signature blue, making it pretty clear where their affiliations lie. Things got heated fast, and for a moment, it looked like Waka and the guy were about to throw down right there on the set. But thankfully, nothing major went down, and it didn't turn into a full-blown fight.
I'm the one that beat you, nigga. I'm the one that beat you. Yeah, I'm the one that beat you, nigga. You know what? I need to go west side to the bullet, nigga. This way, we out here eating, bro. We out here eating, bro. Trip set, man. This shit way bigger than this, bro.
Still, after that whole incident, Waka wasn't bothered at all. He didn't even flinch, but that didn't stop those Crip guys. They kept coming after Waka, going off on him multiple times after that.
You got the black eye on him. You feel me? This is the black eye I put on him, nigga. I put the black eye on the bitch. You feel me? You see it? Waka Flocka, he's a bitch. You feel me? Hold on. We can't have it. We can't have it in our store. You feel me? We just.
And then there was the time Spider Lock and some Crips members went after Lil Wayne's security. It all started when Lil Wayne was featured on Shawty Lowe's Day No remix, and Lil Wayne apparently took a shot at the Crips.
And he had a lyric that said, "Suwu gang, if you ain't with that, you from the food chain." I'm thinking about school, the ocean, and you know what you find in the ocean. I thought he was sneak dissing.
According to Spider Lock, Lil Wayne came over to Spider Lock's location, where he had a studio to shoot a music video with T-Pain. Instead of Spider Lock getting the opportunity to talk with Lil Wayne one-on-one to find out if the song was a diss or not, Spider Lock ended up being with a large group of individuals.
He came to shoot a video with T-Pain, and instead of me getting an opportunity to approach him one-on-one, I ended up being with a large group of individuals.
Things were about to get rough because they intended to attack Lil Wayne's cars and security, but thankfully they heard a police siren and dispersed.
And they were leaving. And when we encountered the SUVs, we kind of approached the SUVs with intentions to do quite a few things. I think we heard one siren off in the distance, and that's all it took. We was out of there.
And this wasn't the only time Crips members would try to threaten Lil Wayne.
Close that door, G. Hey, Wayne. Hey, Wayne. What's up, big man?
Hey, Wayne. Hey, Wayne. Hey, Wayne. Hey, Wayne. Hey, Wayne. Check in. Hey, Wayne. Check in. Hey, Wayne.
And then there's Charleston White, who never holds back when it comes to speaking his mind. Charleston has been very vocal about refusing to check in with any gang. He's even said in interviews that Los Angeles has claimed more rappers' lives than any other city in America, and a lot of those deaths come from silly stuff, like not checking in.
LA done killed more rappers than any city in America. LA is known for killing rappers. Rappers should run from LA.
He's not shy about calling out the craziness of the whole checking in concept.
Surprised they didn't put up the one with 40 Glock for Lil Wayne too.
making it clear that he thinks it's just a way for these gangs to exert control and intimidate people.
I'm a black man in America. And I swear up and down as a black man that the white man is holding me down. His systematic institutional racism is.
That's true though, right? So I think Mac 10 was the one that got over the Cash Money and blooded them, all of them, Baby too, right? He's the one that kind of put them on, if you ask me, right? I'm pretty sure that is the actual timeline.
Keeping me down, his mass incarceration. When I flip the coin over, I got a doing the same thing to me. I got a saying, if I come to this white man's city that he live in, I gotta come check in.
Because of his outspoken criticism, a lot of gang members can't stand him. They've even gone so far as to ban him from entering LA. But if you know Charleston White, you know that didn't stop him one bit. Instead, he doubled down, going on social media live streams, throwing insults, and calling them out even more aggressively.
Yeah, so very good video. Very, very good video. All relevant. This year we'll have a lot of continued topics and talk around extortion. It just is what it is, okay? Look at this hilarious. This is I got 2 laughs of the day for y'all. One that was sent to me in on IG. I appreciate you, love, as always. And this one that I found, I was just like, if y'all haven't, it's already got me laughing. If y'all haven't seen this shit, yo, Little Dirk's face. Like, we're gonna watch this a couple times. Just watch Little Dirk. So it's like they in the studio cooking up, and dude rubs like the engineer's head, and Little Dirk is looking at him like, the fuck you let this man rub your head for? Then he starts massaging his shoulders a little bit, and Dirk is looking at it like he wants to throw up. You gotta watch Lil Durk's face multiple times. His whole shit is thrown off, son. Like, look at this nigga, son. It's hilarious. Be coming out on the internet. All I would say is, if I tried to throw them some rope there, try to help them out there, it's just like, even if you're gonna walk up on your engineer to produce whatever on his shoulders, good job, like whatever. Or even if it's like a like, yo, good shit, like it got to be a shake though. Like you can't the thumbs can't move. You definitely the thumbs can, if the thumbs do this, it's over. If your thumbs can't move, it's got to be a grip and it's got to be a shake. Like, nigga, that's that shit right there. Like, it's got to be a shake. But I definitely can't help you out with the head rub. Like nigga, like I can't help you with the head rub. There's nothing I could do on that one. Be like, oh shit. This one had me crying yesterday. Yo, this has nothing to do with hip hop. I don't know why this made my eyes tear yesterday. It's just when you think you're seeing everything, but the shit that just be on the web, man. Just a laugh of the day for y'all starting y'all Thursday morning. Oh shit. I don't know what's funnier. The way that it looked like the raccoon jumped off like I'm bailing, or the way that they screamed and laughed in the car. I don't know what's yo. It said the raccoon just straight committed that, V. It said, nah, it's over. It's over. Goodbye, cruel world. It's crazy. It said, raccoon said, I'm going to end it all. Yo, is that not the funniest thing of the day, son? Yo, see, this is why I do it for you. See, Hold Up Bro says, I ain't gonna lie, I needed that laugh. You know what I'm saying? Like, thank you, love, for sending this over. That shit was hilarious. Yo, it makes y'all laugh the way it made me laugh. I'm glad. One more again. We got all right, I lied 2 more times. Oh shit. All right. Once again, I apologize for being early this morning, but oh, shit got me sweating. I have such a hectic day, so I had to come on 30 minutes earlier. I promise y'all that'll be a rare occasion. Normally, yes, Monday through Friday, it's going to be 6 a.m. for the most part. And then and then Saturdays and Sundays will be morning as well, but a little bit later in the morning, get a little bit extra sleep. And then we will mix in the afternoons based on what's going on randomly. But yes, as far as Monday through Friday, I want to be able to stick to that schedule, which we have been for like the last month, 6 a.m. So apologies to anybody that came on at 6 a.m. this morning. So what the hell? Like, why does it look like I missed like 30 minutes? One of those rare things, man, where I gotta move. I'm bing today. So I hope everybody had a good start this morning. If you missed any of the stream, make sure you rewind it. I'll get the chapters in ASAP sometime before this morning is over. Of course, it'll be chaptered up for everybody, even though we only really covered like 3 topics today. But appreciate y'all, and we will be back ASAP.
Don't confuse silence with work ethic. I'm a boss making decisions, my first fetish. The verse cherished is perfect, that's a reverse blemish. I drop it, connected to block, learn Tetris.
This is the Sorry True Podcast. Welcome to the house of. And shout out to the members.